Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Play Underrail with no fair fight! Todd has opened the gate, and by the way, I just learned I don't have to do all that with Todd. I could just shoot the guy and take his arm. Well, you're always more clever in the endgame. So let's have a look around, just find cool stuff. First, before we take all the good stuff, I think we just try to look around if there's any enemies. We should be fully loaded though, because I mean, Todd told us that 300 years long there was no one here, so why should there be someone all of a sudden? He says he was alone. So I am assuming that there are no enemies left alive. However, are we gonna risk anything? No, of course not. We're playing it safe and sound. That's how we do things. We're opening all the doors, just in case something bad happens. Then we are prepared to get through fast. Ooh, storage. Storage always sounds good. Ooh, gasoline. I expected more. Gun parts for energy weapons. Well, it's stuck. Crap. I can hear sounds. I cannot really tell you what it is, but something is here. Okay, this door is open, so we're fine. Doors are closed. Let's move north. Look around. Be careful, be careful, be careful. We could go into stealth, but again, as far as I understand it, there is no one here anyway alive, because all the evil guys left already. The researchers, the Atlanteans that were here. Oh my, what is that? That is a monolith. To merely call the monolith dark would not be accurate. Its blackness is merely the lack of reflecting light, but emptiness in every way. It's space not vacated or filled by a dark substance. Rather, it feels through. There is not even any space here. It's more like a tear in space, or perhaps a tear in reality itself, revealing the nothingness beyond. At the same time, the monolith does appear as if it would some kind of exist in itself. Its existence seems clearer and more fundamental than everything else around it. One of its corners seemed to be cut off, giving you a glimpse inside the monolith. A sign of endless expanses, populated by dim purple, bluish, reddish light, sparsely lit by bright white particles, all swirling endlessly without aim in a fine purple mist through the black void. Reach out and touch. It feels smooth to your touch. It's neither cold nor warm. Touch the place where it was cut. You scramble up the slippery monolith until you can just reach the cut part. Then you slowly insert your fingers inside, but immediately withdraw them due to searing pain. You slide down in panic and inspect your hand. The very tips of your fingertips appear as if they were cut off with a surgical precision. Reach out for the monolith with your mind. You focus your mind on the monolith, and the experience is unlike anything you've known before. All the thoughts you direct towards the monolith are swallowed in darkness. You're left dazed, confused, and an irrational sense of dread. Did this thing just damage us? Oh wait, our will is not high enough, but now comes the kicker. I can increase my... Well, maybe we should save that for later. But I totally think that this thing is a danger. But it's evil. Oh, look at that! You can damage it! Ha ha ha! Can I blow you to smithereens? That's the question. Oh, crap. That was bad, right? We'd better rise shields. Oh, damn it. That was stupid, right? Oh boy, we're in trouble. Like, massively in trouble. And I cannot even kill this void thingies. I can do damage, but obviously I cannot kill them. Worn out for 10 turns. Just try to ruin them. Maybe I can kill the... Haha! I just killed the creatures! Oh crap, but the thing itself is not still alive, right? Ah, shite. It's always the same with these things. Can I move around? Cannot do that. Shields are still up, so that's the good news. Maybe I can do this. Oh crap. That was stupid because I didn't hit it. And we're fatigued. Oh crap! And there is a million of them. Okay, can I move out of the way somehow, please? Oh wait, I can avoid your attacks, right? Haha, you suckers! Can I take something that increases... I cannot take these because they're a cooldown, but I can take those. Doesn't help that much. And they're hitting me again. Can I move out? I can still not move out of range. I could try to get some more action points. Maybe I can fire again. Okay, now at least I can move again. Maybe move out of range. Is that possible? And there is one more of these little buggers. And it's dead. That's good news. But my shields are nearly gone. This is not really going well for us, is it? Cannot do that. Can't do this, though. Can protect myself one more turn against the buggers. If I don't destroy this thing soon, I'm dead. I have to keep firing. Ha-ha! It's dead! Screw this monolith thing. Oh boy, our shields are gone. No problem, shields can be reloaded. Shadowlith. A fine pinch black dust. You scoop up a handful, it feels completely weightless. Actually, some of your handful is lighter holding it. In a couple of seconds, the dust fades out of existence, only leaving behind the faint shadow of your palm that lingers a few minutes more. Okay, beautiful. Well, that thing was evil because... oh, we didn't take the door. Serpent devouring a radiant sphere. Serpent! That's the reason they call themselves the Serpent People. Oh, it all makes sense now. Yay! Power's back, baby! Computer documents. Show waves... psycho protection charts. no perceptible simulation. Faint distal aura beat in range of 5 to 15 BPM. No visual simulation. Deep simulation of unconscious cognition. Inductive reasoning, memory collection, creativity, association, language. Sense of great relaxation, loss of sense in time, spectral awareness. Lucid audiovisual hallucinations, increased analytic cognitive performance, deducting reasoning, complex problem solving, increased psionic performance across most disciplines, exhausting for non-psionic subjects, severe headaches in extreme cases. Frequencies higher than 60 MHz are not considered dangerous and should be used with psionic subjects while exercising extreme caution. Shadow wave frequencies. Sense of muscular motion inside head and abdomen. Mild headache and ancestral pain if approximately half of the subjects. Violent pounding in ears, sometimes accompanying with hissing, growling and screaming. Creeping terror, distress and coldness. Sense of affixation and claustrophobia. Temporary loss of sight and hearing with exception of sporadic audiovisual visions, most commonly containing flashing lights, serpentine motion, and indiscernible echoing sounds. Suicidal urges, madness, often leading to several hemorrhaging and death. They tried death! Are you kidding me? Frequencies higher than 42 Hz will consistently result in the death of subjects that have inhalated shadow dust. They were able to damage the monolith. Not many were able to do that. First drawing features a black background with a few white squiggly lines, some thicker, some nothing more. Second sketch is more elaborate. There is about 20 or so lines horizontal parallel to one another, with some having warm coloration, red, orange, yellow, either all the way through, particularly until turning white again. They are shaped like sine waves in smooth constant attitude, but some of the waves are only uniform until up they spiral out of harder order outside the bounds of the drawing. Third sketch is yet more elaborate. The background is still black, but all the lines are colored without restrictions. The mutual spatial relationship feels organized in a fully two-dimensional way, while their shapes are more varied in size and proportions. If still round for the most part, simple geometrical shapes like triangles and squares split in half diagonally are also present, as if emerging from some kind of fabric formed by the underlying intertwistment of multicolored lines. Yet the form is purely abstract and doesn't refer anything from the real world. The fourth drawing is completely black. The fifth drawing can easily be mistaken for a long-lost work of abstract art. It's fully colored, three-dimensional painting. What is a three-dimensional painting? Oh, they mean, okay, they don't mean an art and sculpture, they mean really a painting of rubbed land and water or something completely different, with angular shapes of complex geometry placed on with a great sense of spatial awareness and proportion. The colors are overwhelming, as if the painter was compensating for the lack of vividness or some other inherent property, and many lines are drawn multiple times with slight deviation in their dimensionality. Perception. You're also able to see through the distracting colors and deceptive lines to discover outwardly forms. The background, whatever it is, has mangled and undefined as it may look, feels strangely alive for a still image, and in some kind of sensory motion, as if the visual wants to expand into sounds and sense, but will never actually do. The complex shapes, particular polyhedral architecture and machines are more defined in some ways appear conquer this realm. They do not appear to be fit for human beings, at least not for our size or proportions, but perhaps for something entirely different. Okay, that means someone is building in this world. The sixth drawing represents a cold, calculated organization of shapes, void of artistry and human emotion, a technical drawing in essence. The rounded shapes are predominant again, as well as few merged tetragons, and colors are uniform. In distribution is saturation. This is the first one of the features text. A formula seems to describe properties of the drawn reality and relate them to our own. The seventh drawing is unfinished, being only about 1/3 done. It's a chaotic amalgamation of all the previous works, containing spirals and triangles in half-written formula. Its incompleteness doesn't have a sense of drawing direction you're familiar with. Instead, there are many holes in the composition. Certain spots are just lack color, whereas some other spots are completely black, and there is no decisible pattern to all of this. The drawing makes no sense to you. It also appears to be the last one in the folder. Early collections. The folder contains numerous drawings of various individuals, ranging from simple black and white scratches to colorful portraits of mind-bending objects, world or purely abstract concepts. Rounded, wave-like or spiral lines pervade the imagery, and triangles, pyramids, and tetrons, depending on dimensions features, are also common motifs. There are a few notable ones. A transparent submarine dimming with black slimy mass. Beams of light illuminate from it from the dark below. A human figure cutting the monolith. Disciples is being laid down horizontally on the floor. There is a black smoke rising from it and filling the room before falling black down as specks of dust. Some strange flying machine with large wings spreading out in the fog. Its dimension and other properties are written next to it. A man and a woman with their hands reaching up, tentacles emerge from below and hold them by their legs. An anatomy of the woman with some unknown markings on her vital organs. Her skin is colored green. Contemporary collection. The folder contains numerous drawings by various individuals, most of them are disturbing and firm in content. They feature twisted perspectives, strong colors that bleed into one another, serpents and other sinister-looking creatures devouring or simply slaughtering human beings, as well as creatures of other kinds. Some of these drawings contain formulas occult rather than scientific, regarding things to do with flesh, and often featured next to these inscriptions, drawn in one way or the other. Some are notable than others. Humanoid reptilians driving spears into hairy, muscular, four-legged creature. They're in the middle of an endless pool of blood. The serpents constriction various objects, people, machines, cities, celestial bodies, and other things greater, often titled as Sormir or Flotsorm, most commonly Flotsomir. A vortex of some kind, dark-centered and surrounded by people, both alive and dead. All of the living ones are bowing deeply, but the one who's sprinkling some kind of black dust all over it. The dead are never whole. Oh boy. Neutral mapping. The dark screen turns purple. Colorful and detailed spiraling shapes of mathematical proportion begin to appear in the middle of the screen, becoming more and more concentrated in the very center until a symmetrical image finally gains form. The shapes repeat in different configurations and are self-similar, composed of smaller, identical or almost identical shapes to itself, diminishing in scale to appear infinity. The text underneath the images indicates that the image has been rendered in real time for some kind of mathematical function. You're given the option to zoom in. We zoom in. You zoom into the center. The macro shape outgrows the screen and reveals its factual composition, whose constitutiveness then again grows larger and radiate away as you zoom in. Colors change and shapes reconfigure, and the longer you stare into the infinite center, the more it feels like you're descending into new realities, losing sight of the previously obvious patterns and building blocks. From purple vastness you fall into spiraling azure sea, whose surface forms a more of a new universe that swallows you and squeezes you past bright stars into the quadra of containing a layer of slithering green serpents, between which clouds of glittering dust conceal scoring pitch of molten rock, forming an ice island on which lush orange vegetation comes to. The swarms of yellow thousand-legged insects crawling around in their monstrous black queen, whose single compound eye reflects floating polydrons between the cosmic arcs of lightning wreak havoc at the disintegrate reality and funnel it broken into a spiraling singularity, which in fact is a great serpent. I can no longer zoom in. Whoa, this is weird. Summon a servant? No servant. Boy, these guys are all nuts. Looks like a head scanner or maybe a projector of some kind. There's a lot of exposed cabling, mismanaged and makeshift components, otherwise clear signs of attack approach to construct and modifying this device. You see dried blood on the backrest. Oh boy, they're all nuts. Ooh, 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 ooh. What is that? A pacifier. A cumbersome chunky construction pursues. This is... grants 1 additional psi slot. Very good. Psionic skills increased by 25. Psi generation increased by 3. Non-damaging psi blaze cost is reduced by 30%. Wow. This is interesting. Oh, by the way, for those who don't know, this is a monolith. So if I had higher willpower, if I were a psyker, I would have gotten a feat, I guess, because with every monolith you do that, you get something normally. In the beginning monolith of the Forgotten Isle, you get a psi ability, and I think you here get 1 range bonus, something like that. Organ tanks, certain closely oversized heart with electrodes attached to them. The screen features an image of a dissected man. His body is twisted and Aphrodite. Certain patches of his skin feature reptilian scales. Oh boy, they're nuts. They basically created shadow waves of living tissue. Effects without replications. Will accept the process cause. Biomarker unknown. Tests involve reanimating dead tissue. They're nuts. They tried the monolith to alter themselves and to recreate the dead, or to reanimate the dead. Is that possible? Oh, okay. Bullets. Whoa, that's a lot of good bullets. Oh, I'm loving it. Beautiful. Okay, let's first of all look around here, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good stuff here. Some crafting. A scanner, some kind of crudely constructed scanner. You can deduct much from its appearance. Crudely conducted? Are they nuts? This thing is absolutely beautiful high-tech. Servant? No servant. Document. Shadowlith Act... archive. This is the collection of collaborative scientific notes, reports, and papers on the shadowlith recovered following shadow immersion. Wiped out most of the data in the laboratory database. Yeah, they said they were power surge. Todd told us that. The collection is incomplete and provides limited corporal insight into the most basic interaction between shadowlith and our reality. It should serve for archival purposes. Discovery. The black monolith first uncovered by the Abyssal Excavation Site 6. Exact year and date unknown. Closest estimate between LEBD 20 and 30. Several years after the construction of Abyssal Station 0. The monolith is 3 meter tall, deep black structure with the shape of a hexagonal prism, augmented with pyramidal frustums in top of bottom. This is composed of a material dense that required 4 heavy sublifters to bring it to the station. At 108 tons, its density is calculated to be 30,016 gram per cubic centimeter. Transporting it from the manufacturing dome required a reinforced floor with RG panels and using sublubric mats to eliminate friction when be pushed by strongmen. Composition test. The test was performed after an upgrade to nuclear magnetic resonance spectro module in hopes that it will finally allow us to determine the molecular structure of the black monolith after numerous failed attempts. To our dismay, but sadly consistent with all our previous tests, this one too gave us no results. The black monolith is impenetrable to all our instruments and previous no tools which we've tried to obtain samples. In agreement with Dr. Merson, we are casing all attempts to further testing in monolith's physical properties until means to obtain samples are provided. Instead, we'll focus on our research on the shadow waves. Shadow waves. The shadow wave is a transverse wave radiated by the black monolith, which during the first half period exhibits measurably physical interactions. Positive, extensive, but no measurable interaction with the second half period. Negative, extensive. In normal conditions, the change between positive and negative extensive occurs in the frequency of 0.2 Hz, meaning that the wave completes our full cycle in 0.4 Hz with an average wavelet of 16 microns. The points where exactly states come to an end are called shadow wave extensor limits, or more specifically negative in the compositive extension limits for each of the respective states of interaction. The extent to which the shadow waves interact with the material reality is yet unknown, but so far we've measured the more obvious electronic interactions, effects of shadow waves on electromagnetic fields by Dr. Hermann Sigmarsson, some weak nuclear interactions, radioactive decay of shadow wave extensor limits, Dr. Tarben Werengier, and some strong nuclear interactions, quark chromodynamic perturbations at shadow wave extended limits, Dr. Stor Ovid. Oh, that is the guy, that is the family from Todd's wife. Unaccounted for, increase or decrease of mass at exactly limits have also been measured, but due to its inconsistent magnification and magnitude, we have yet to draw a solid conclusion with respect to the gravitational effects of the wave. I have to stop the recording soon, but I will read that to the end. Most of the perturbations or otherwise unexplained phenomena occur near to the extensor's limit, whereas during the positive exercy and the shadow wave carries energy in form of regular electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave staring the negative and ending of the positive extensor's limit of that period. In somewhat predictable fashion, depending on the properties measured, how the energy is carried from positive to negative extensor's limits. For all intents and purposes, how the wave comes into existence again, and why and how this limit, which can be represented as fields causing those interactions, manifest in space, is yet unknown, meaning they know nothing. What is clear is that changes in this electromagnetic comet wave during positive extension of the shadow wave is conserved through its negative extension, meaning that without a doubt the same wave which alters between affecting and not affecting physical reality is, as all of our research suggests, in quite possibly all of its fundamental aspects. The electromagnetic wave, which we have studied most of the interactions, exhibits an unusual kind of elliptical polarization defined by the Holden's disjointed function. Okay, I'm not an astrophysicist. This is absolutely above my pay grade. Informally, it has been dubbed the serpentine polarization, as in a graph represents spears and likeness of snake spiralation through space. All attempts of polarizing the wave in any way have proven unsuccessful, as the wave will polarize as soon as the shadow wave enters the negative extension, meaning that after passing negative extension limit, the EM wave will again have serpentine polarization. Yeah, I will read all that next time. Because that is a lot to read. Holy cannoli. Ooh. Oh, I think that is the anchor. Beautiful. Oh, and this is a lot of parts. We'll be rich. Oh boy, that is a lot of weapons. If we take all this, we'll be overloaded. But it would be a shame to let them go to waste, right? I mean, they're not worth anything, right? Nah, this is trash. Why would... Oh, a strongman head. It's got burn marks to the rise of the neck and spiral towards the top of the head. They emit a faint purple glow. That is not good. I think that is something they experimented with. Okay, I'll stop it here, and we'll see each other next time. Well, we'll kill the monolith, and next time we'll take the anchor. Until then, bye!